Hi, everybody. Hope everyone's having a good day. All right, so we've been doing the Psionics from this book. I should recognize it at this point. And I didn't really go over all the powers and depth that were in Eldritch Wizardry or in 1E, but we're in 2E, and they really expand. So I don't have the other books with me. I just have the one. But people said, at least one person would like me to look at the powers. So we already did Aura Sight. All right. And talked about that, whether it be tougher or not to interpret some things from that. And me going, well, it's, I don't know. But game mechanic wise, I can see why they maybe did that, but I don't know. I think you would have to have some kind of better reason to be able to hide your aura. Just my feeling, but rules as written, you can do it. You can make it your level makes it more difficult. Now, the next power in the book is Clairaudience. Now, the power score is Wisdom subtract 3. Initial cost is 6. Maintenance cost is 4 per round. Range unlimited. Prep time 0. Area of effect special. And prerequisites none. So let's see what this does. Clairaudience allows the user to hear sounds from a distant area. The psionicist picks a spot anywhere within range. He then can hear everything that he would be able to hear normally if he was standing in that spot. If the psionicist has enhanced senses, the senses apply to clairaudience as well. The farther the listening spot is from the psionicist, the more difficult it is to use this power, and the table below gives specifics. So I'll show you the table. There you go. All right. So, it's pretty, the table looks like it moves up in 2s. So this would probably be one that once you get used to using it, especially if you're the DM or the player, you're gonna understand this. It'll be easy to remember. So, and it works in 10s, basically. 100 yards, 0. 1,000 yards, -2. We'll say, it works in zeros, I guess. 10 miles, -4. 100 miles, -6. 1,000 miles, -8. 10,000 miles, -10. Interplanetary. Got a little star there. -12. Players with the Spelljammer boxed set should note that Clairaudience works only within a given crystal sphere of plane. Yeah, I need to get the original Spelljammer. I have the 5e sitting. No ship rolls. Can't believe it. Anyway, that's okay. I'm creative. If I want to play 5e Spelljammer, I'll make it work. Using clairaudience does not screen out background noise around the psionicist. There you go. If something in his own neighborhood is raising a racket, he may have trouble hearing what is happening somewhere else. He needs silence. Clairaudience also does not give the psionicist the ability to understand a foreign or alien language, nor does it help him interpret sounds. For example, if the psionicist hears furniture scraping across the floor, he can only guess whether it's a chair or something else, just as if he heard it while blindfolded. Power score. The psionicist automatically gains clairvoyance of the area as well. 20. The psionicist is deaf for 1d12 hours. Ouch. That's not good. Don't roll a 20. Everybody's like, but But, yeah, I know, well, 1E, 2E, a lot of the stuff hadn't been, like, codified into, like, one rule to rule them all. No. You needed to know mechanics work differently for different things. Yeah, 20. Yeah, when 20s were bad. Bring back the 20 fumble, right? So that is that one. We can do clairvoyance too. Why not? Clairvoyance, power score, wisdom -4, initial cost 7, maintenance cost 4 per round, range unlimited, preparation time 0, area effect special, prerequisites none. Clairvoyance allows the user to see images from a distant area. The psionicist picks a viewing spot anywhere within range. He can then see anything that he could normally see if he were standing in that spot. His field of vision is no wider than usual, but he can scan the area by turning his head. Clairvoyance does not replace the character's normal eyesight. The psionicist can still see what is actually before him, but the distant scene is superimposed. For this reason, most clairvoyants close their eyes to avoid the confusion of images. The more distant the viewed area is, the more difficult it is to use clairvoyance. This table below shows how the range to a viewed area can diminish the psionicist's power score. All right, we got a similar range setup, and it's working exactly the same as the previous one. So 100 yards, 0, 1,000 yards, -2, 10 miles, -4, 100 miles, -6, 1,000 miles, -8, 10,000 miles, -10, interplanetary, -12. Little star. Players with Spelljammer's box set should note that clairvoyance works only within a given crystal sphere or plane. Clairvoyance does nothing to enhance the character's vision, unless some other power or magic is at work. He still cannot see objects that are invisible, hidden, in shadow, or behind other objects. This power also provides no sound, as the character actually sees a kind of silent movie without subtitles, of course. Once the viewing spot is chosen, it is fixed in space. To enjoy the view from another location, the psionicist must use this power another time and make a new power check. The psionicist's clairvoyant presence is undetectable by normal means. It cannot be dispelled, repelled, or kept away by any form of magic. Power score. The psionicist automatically gains clairaudience 2 for the duration of the clairvoyant vision. And a 20. Remember, 20 is bad. The psionicist is blind for 1d4 hours. So I did 2 there. Yeah, it's got quite a few, but yeah, we'll do it like a couple. Try to do a couple a week or something. I am working on the monsters too out of here, so we'll keep doing that. And we'll get through this. Maybe I'll pull the other books and see if I can't figure out which powers are in all 3 of these. Take a look to see if they changed. That's a little more homework for me. I'm kind of busy, but I'll see what we can get done there. Yeah. Planes. I mean, there's some cool stuff in here. There's some other stuff in the back here. Now, if you're reading this and going, 10,000 miles, I don't want that in my campaign, my setting, then don't put it in there. You get to cap it. Said this when we first started Psionics. When people like, it's too much power. Well, if you feel it's too much power, then you limit the power. And you play it where everyone's nerfed a little bit until you decide different. And there's lots, you can come up with reasons why somebody can suddenly do something more than they did before. But as the game master, you're creating the setting. Just like some people have a low magic setting. There's magic, but it's much harder to pull off, much more dangerous. Doesn't quite work the same. And then there's high magic, where like everybody's got magic, and there's magic everywhere. You know, basically cast a nuclear tactical explosion. You know, so most settings aren't no magic that are fantasy, or to the point where you're nuking cities with magic. It's usually somewhere in between the extremes. If you think something in psionics is going to unbalance your game, then go ahead and treat it carefully. That would be my advice. It's like introducing guns. All the fantasy role-playing games I played, guns were very rare, and when they were used, they were coming from some outside reason, and they weren't something made by the Dinsians of that world. So they tended not to happen. On the other hand, you didn't really need guns if you had somebody with a wand that could cast fireballs. So, I'm just saying. And we had fun and all, but, were we missing out on something? Or was the game being kept from being unbalanced? Or was the game unbalanced? I don't know. Thinking back to those particular games, I don't know. Now, I'm like, gosh, we had laser guns at some point, I remember. But, they only lasted so long. So my point is on psionics. You can, and I've already given you one monster that could affect the psionic ability of play in a on a planet. I mean, if there's a whole lot of those little cerebral parasites roaming around, and nobody knows how to treat them. It's the other thing. Just because the book gives you a way to treat them doesn't mean that that's been discovered yet. And likewise, you could have a planet that has low magic in your setting because you have the equivalent thing happening to magic users. So even though there's actually a lot of magic potential, those little cerebral parasites are eating it up, the magical ones that I suggested that you could make, and nerfing the magic of a place. And until those are dealt with, until they starve off, can you imagine, right? For generations, hardly anybody's been able to do magic. And then gradually those things started to die out, and now the magic's coming back, Same thing. You could explain psionics coming into your campaign that people always said there was something like ESP and, doing the mind thing and but nobody believed it, and then it starts happening again. The reason being is those parasites had really taken over that particular setting, that world, nerfed everything. The majority of them had died out now, but that took generations of these things going around, psionically nerfing all the monsters, psionically nerfing all the people, and now psionics are coming back, and people are learning how to use their powers again, and they don't understand. And the magic users whose magic wasn't affected don't understand these new powers either. There's lots of ways to introduce things to a game. Magic, psionics, a device can affect a planet, and once that device, whatever that is destroyed, psionics come back or activated. Magic comes back, or it's kept very weak. So because of this thing's been activated or destroyed. So, things to think about in your settings. Makes your setting unique. Makes your version of whatever, if like even your box game, unique. You don't have to do what Wizards of the Coast puts out, or what TSR put out, or what any other game system put out. You can do your own thing. So that's my pep talk on, and psionics are cool and underrated and underused. And like I said, you set the level. You set the level. Spock is not able to unbalance the Star Trek universe. He has an edge. And there's always an element of danger. You can emphasize that with your mechanics. So there's always a good chance it might not work, because he's like always says, this doesn't always work. Though I think he's particularly talented. But it's not like he's, sitting there on the bridge of the Enterprise, looking at the Klingon captain in the view screen going, "You will not attack us. You will go home." That scene never happens. You see what I'm saying? Because they decided that's not within his realm to do. On the other hand, if the guy's behind, right there next to him, or on the other side of the wall, he might be able to influence them. So psionics don't have to, and he can't do everything. He has like a list of things he can do, but he can't do everything that's in this book. So that's the other thing. So give it some thought, and think about how these audio and visual, and that there's limitations to them. And use those limitations. You do not say to a player what the sound is. You describe it. Well, it's like a crunching sound, kind of metallic. And it's happening, and there's a rubbing to it. That's all you're getting. Now they got to figure out what that was. Same thing. You describe what the person's doing. Well, there's a person, and they're talking, and you can see that they're moving this, looks like an object around. Yeah, it's coming in now. It looks like maybe a can, and looks like they're crushing it, and they're talking. What are they saying? Can you read lips? Oh, no. Well, then you don't know. Well, who are they talking to? Are you gonna? I don't know. What are you doing, player? Well, I'm looking at that person. So until they say, "I'm moving my head," and then you can say, "Well, okay. It looks like that person isn't talking now. There's nobody there for them to talk to, so they must be talking to somebody you can't see, looking to your right, look to your left. So look behind you, but the player has to tell you what they're doing. Okay? If they don't say they're moving around and looking at stuff, then they don't get that information. And once that session's done, it's done. Oh, and if they don't take notes and then they ask you later, go, "Well, I guess you didn't take notes. So you've forgotten." Just like, if I don't get up, let's say I wanted to record my dreams. Some people are into that. I did it for a while for fun. If I wake up and the first thing I do is not write down my dream that I was having, or the dreams that I remember, the longer I go from that moment, the more likely I am to forget any details, unless it was something that really stood out. There's like some dreams to this day. I was like, okay. But most of them are like, and if I get woken up a certain way, I may not remember those dreams. Like it's a race button, you know, because the adrenaline and everything, it just, you know, that's, I'm dealing with what's happening right now. So, yeah, if they didn't say, I'd take notes. In fact, they should be, you know, might want to give players note paper and pencils. And when they look at you and go, what's the notepad for? It's going to be like, well, you might want to take notes during the adventure. Of course, if they're on Zoom or something, you can only encourage them on their side of the screen to be jotting down things from time to time. But, you know, just saying. So that's the Psionics. I didn't mean it to go this long. We'll do more, you know, throughout the week and shell out this book so we can go look at more Psionics. People are like, you're doing them all? I said, oh, sure. What the ones I got? Why not? Nobody else is, you know. And there's Psionics in here too. We'll get to that. But I'm focusing on AD&D, Dungeons and Dragons stuff because, man, the hate, and I can never understand the hate. The simplest system that's compatible, I would say, dice wise, and you could figure out mechanically would be Gamma Worlds. It's probably the easiest. And I know we used Gamma World a few times in D&D, a modified version of it. We did something. I went with play group. We were playing Gamma World and D&D, and we even had crossover adventures. So yeah, that's how that developed. But yeah, there you guys go. So we'll keep chugging, and we'll learn all about the exciting universe of the psyche and what you can do with it. So, everybody have a great day. Like, subscribe, comment, and we'll keep doing psionics. Because, like, yeah. Even if you're just using it as one-off things, like this one NPC can do this. Start, you know, as a way of starting to introduce it. It doesn't have to be malicious either. Or there was these ancient legends of these wizards who were different than the other wizards. Whatever you want to do, go with it. Run with it in your fantasy role-playing game. And there's no reason they're not in psionics in like mutant stuff or, you know, any of the sci-fi genre. And D&D has sci-fi in it. If you don't think it doesn't, if you think it's all grim fairy tales, you are wrong. You are greatly mistaken. You know, over the years, I've learned more and more, or just realized when I'm reading something, go, wait. This Tomb in Greyhawk supplement, it's a spaceship. There is one. There's a tomb. It's a spaceship. So that's not just Blackmore then. Just putting it out there. Yeah, that's because it came from the same sandbox planet. Same planet. Different divergent developments by different dungeon masters. Something to sink in. That's why you can borrow stuff back and forth. Even if the mechanics are just slightly different. Posh the mechanics. Have fun. Everybody have a great day. And remember, it's not the edition you play or even the game system you play. It is about challenges, communication, having fun, looting the bodies, figuring out how to throw a monkey wrench at the GM, and the GM figuring out how to throw a monkey wrench at the players and having a good laugh. And always remember, yeah, at some point your paper people will die. That applies to the GM too. So everybody have a great day. Have fun. Let your imaginations go. Read some books. Listen to them on audio tape. I've done it. Think of some good adventures. Start thinking about what kind of system what kind of setting. Worry about this. Don't worry about the system. Worry about the setting. Then you can figure out what system will work best. If you want Gonzo crazy, Ardent, because it's Gonzo crazy. If you want just to be able to do a lot of one shots, I'd go with GURPS. I know there's for Traveler. I know GURPS has stuff. Good resources. I know Mongoose is the current publisher. I have no idea what their rules are like, though. I have no idea. And if someone's like, well, gonna go buy them. I'm like, yeah. I'm on a budget. And I know that there's the original Traveler's rules as well. So, but there's other space opera games where you could just use Traveler's setting and then use that system's rules. Like I could, in theory, use take the setting and then use a completely different game system. I'd have to really research it a little bit, but in general, it's just sci-fi. This gizmo does this. Okay, how do we make that happen with the certain rules we're using? You just make some calls, man. You make some judgment calls. If you like to mix fantasy and sci-fi heavy, there was a supplement for D&D that did that. Tail of the Comet, I believe it is. Yeah. Space aliens, alien killer robots, and fantasy D&D. Boom, slammed together. And it's the end of the world kind of stuff. So, some of the aliens need to work with the fantasy people to take care of the killer robots. What more do you want out of a game? Seriously, that's Gonzo. So, anyway, everybody have a great day. Bye. Reconsider Psionics. And like, subscribe, comment. Stay groovy. Peace out. Bye.